Welcome to CTV.
to CTV.
We just finished the 3 beers and a
We
topic.
just finished 3 beers and a topic.
We did them out of order.
We did them out of order. Also, there were 4 beers. And then he drank the grog where
I mean, if you're watching this,
mixed
you're on our
everything.
Patreon, so you know 3 beers and a topic.
Yeah, so welcome to CTV, where we're going to be talking about Doom Patrol. I'll talk about Legends of Tomorrow, and we are going to spoil Shazam. Billy Batson
be
is
at the
Shazam. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Man.
I know. I shouldn't have done it. Okay.
It's not cool, dude. It's not cool.
These are stronger beers than we thought. Okay, so did not catch up an arrow. I did watch Doom Patrol. Also watched Orville. Great season. Watch it if you're a fan of Star Trek. There's really not much more to say about it.
Orville is fantastic.
Orville's amazing.
If you're a fan of Seth MacFarlane and Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the star, and he made it.
You're ready.
I didn't know that.
So Orville's great, but let's talk about Doom Patrol.
Yes.
Danny the Street. Okay.
So I thought
I've
they
actually
did-
got a lot to say
Danny?
about this.
Okay, I will. So I'll start. I thought Danny the Street was done so well that it worked for the show without making it stupid, without kind of going a little too, oh, look, a brick was talking like we kind of hoped. But I thought they did a great job of how it was just all the life that people had on that street is what kept him alive. And the fact that it was kind of a street where anyone could be whoever they wanted. I thought that was great. I liked how it talked to them, talked to them by like moving around, and like a sign would show something to say what he wanted to say to them and all of that stuff. I thought it was really, really good. I thought they did a great job of using that without...
I thought they did. There was a couple problems I had with Danny that they weren't problems, but I was wondering why they made those decisions.
Okay.
So first off, Danny decided that he outright was like, I'm gender queer.
Yes.
Now, in the comics, and Ian can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's never had an origin, and he's never been specified with the gender.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Right. So I found it weird that they decided to just state, oh, Danny's gender queer. It wasn't a problem. It made sense for the plot and everything like that. But it was so in your face. Okay? Which I didn't find bad. Actually, I kind of liked that they kind of specified a little bit more about Danny. Gave him a little bit more personality than he has in the comics.
Yeah.
Because I also felt that his personality was very evident.
Yes.
In this. As opposed to how he is in the comics, where it's like, hey, it's Danny the Street. He left an arrow.
Yeah.
And that's what we get from Danny. You know, we
Yes.
don't get much. So they gave him much more of a personality. I did like that. Danny, they completely retconned the idea of Danny. So,
How?
Well, Danny, one, does not need the life of the individuals there to push himself, to make
Yes,
himself alive.
that is true.
Danny can be broken down to nothing more than a brick, and Danny's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes he's Danny the Wall.
Right. Yeah, he
Not
is.
nearly
And
a good
sometimes he's Danny
name.
the ambulance. He was an ambulance in the latest Doom Patrol run.
He's usually an inanimate object that can travel.
Yes. So I thought that was fine. But they retconned him to be like, well, he needs the people on the street to make him alive.
Yeah.
Which at first I was okay with, but it seemed like they were really pushing the drag angle. Like he needs these drag individuals to do it. Which once again, I have no problems with at all. I've actually been to a drag show locally here. But I found it weird that they chose to make Danny all about gender queer and drag.
Okay.
When the character's not known for that. Now, he is open-ended enough that it worked. I totally think it worked.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it was a bad handling of it at all. But it really did break down to the big final fight where we had the drag individual beating on the guy from the Bureau of Normalcy. Now, what I told Andy when we were talking about it is I found it. The show would have been fine if they weren't so literally on the nail on the head kind of a situation.
Okay.
They were very, very much like the Bureau of Normalcy fighting the drag individuals in the genderqueer street. And I was kind of like I get what you're going for. I like that you gave Danny more of a personality. I like that you gave him more like this whole genderqueer, because he's a street.
Yeah.
How can he be guy or girl? It
Exactly.
makes sense.
Plus, Danny is a very gender neutral.
It is. It's a very gender neutral name, and I liked that. But it felt like they put gender politics into something that didn't initially have it. And I didn't mind it, but I felt that it's going to cause an argument for a lot of people who are looking for those kinds of arguments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think it Because I liked the fact that his purpose was kind of to be a street or a place where people could be who they were. And I feel like you said, the fact that it was very drag queen focused, I wasn't the biggest fan, not because it was drag queens, but because of the fact that it was only.
And
I wanted it to be
When he
more of
first
a,
got
hey,
there-
some people just want to be who they are. This person
Yeah.
just wants to look like the most goth person in existence, but is from a...
When they first got to the street, I thought that's the direction they were going to go with.
Yeah.
Like, everyone can be however they want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Be it drag, be it goth, be it transgender, be
Yeah.
it whatever they want to be. And they seem to lean so heavily into the drag element that kind of became the whole thing.
I guess the only reason I could see behind that would be the fact that that is the most obvious upon looking at it.
Yeah.
Like it's the only one that when you look at it, you go, okay, those are drag queens. Whereas if it's a transgendered person, a lot of the time you don't you honestly just look at them as a person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I felt it was very much in your face, but it felt like at the same time it was Danny the Street. Like I said, Danny, for those of you guys who don't know, unless I've missed something, has no origin, no real personality.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Not that
never
I'm aware
popped
of,
up
no.
in anything. He's just a cool idea that Grant Morrison came up with in the mid 2000s, in which he's a brick, he's a street, he's an ambulance, he's whatever he needs to be. And he's been on the Teen Titans, he's been on the Doom Patrol, he has been on a lot of different things, and he's never specified who or what he is.
yeah.
Like, we've never known. And for those of you like, did Benny say he does drag? No, I said I've been to a drag show. A friend of ours does do drag, and he invited me, so I went.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not going to name names. I mean,
No.
just in case he doesn't want it.
Yeah. He's not on a teleporting street to keep safe.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
I know.
know,
I asked
exactly.
Andy this, and I actually thought I meant to look it up before we got to the show. But the Bureau of Normalcy.
So I completely forgot to look it up when we
Okay.
talked about it
Is
originally.
it- is it a thing in
I
DC?
was
It's a
just looking for it. I can't find it anywhere other than that Doom Patrol episode.
I
Okay,
think it's
'cause
a
I
thing,
felt
but I
like-
don't think it's named that.
It's probably named something else.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Because the way I felt like this was like, okay, drag queens are fine. Danny being genderqueer is fine. But when you decided to name the opposing government agency the Agency of Normalcy, I was like, you're literally hitting us over the head.
It
And then
is
when
a-
the
it
drag
is a
queen
very-
is beating up the head of the Agency of Normalcy.
Right.
It is a very heavy-handed way to get across your message.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, I do think they did a good job of making it clearly they're just against things that are abnormal, because they weren't against Danny the Street because it was genderqueer. They were against Danny the Street because it was a teleporting street.
Yeah,
weren't
because they went against Negative Man.
Exactly. Or yeah, they went against Larry because he had this being inside him,
Yeah.
because he wasn't
It wasn't normal.
Exactly.
But I found it very heavy-handed when they were like, it's the Bureau of Normalcy. If you've got a teleporting being inside of you or you're a teleporting street,
Yeah.
then you're not normal and we're going to fix it. And
Yes.
I'm like, I felt it was a very handy-heavy way, especially the final fight scene where the drag queen was just beating down
Yeah.
the head of the Bureau. And I'm like, I get what you're going for, but this is very in your face.
Yes.
there was not a subtle message.
It wasn't subtle at all. No, literally, the drag queen's beating on the old
Right.
white guy. I'm like,
To be fair, though, that guy was his partner and was a part of the Bureau of Normalcy, which kind of amplifies the way that he was feeling of he was literally in an organization that was against who he felt he was.
yeah. Now,
And
for
so-
the record, I do want to say this. I loved the episode.
Oh, yeah.
I loved what they did with Danny the Street. I felt that they could have actually expanded upon it.
Yeah.
So Danny wasn't just drag queens, but it was transgender and goth and punk and like everybody who felt they didn't fit in. What I didn't like, I actually nothing I didn't like. The only thing I'm slightly, and I actually looked it up in Google and no one said anything. I don't know if it's because they're not watching Doom Patrol or maybe I was reading too much into it. I don't know. But I was like, oh, well, all those idiots that want to argue,
Right.
you've given them like literally ammo of a drag queen beating on a white guy. Like that's the ammo they're looking for.
Yeah.
No one had anything up. No one is looking for it. So I don't know if I was just reading too much into it because we see this so much in our face.
I think-
like,
yeah, I
people
think-
looking for problems.
Right.
It's so sad.
Maybe it's because it was in their face. They're like,
Right.
They're not trying to.
It's way too obvious.
They're
too
not trying to
obvious.
subtly say anything,
Right.
You know, because they're always like that. You know, like, well, they're after us because they said this one thing in the show, even though it had nothing to do with that. But when the drag queen is beating up the head of the normal people.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
Yeah.
like, nah, that isn't it.
That's not what we're looking
That's
for.
not where they're
It's
going
actually
for.
very interesting that kind of speaks to society as a whole right now, where it's if you watch something and you're like, you see something, you're like, that, okay, people are going to be mad about this. You don't think of, oh, this is a scene in a show. You think, oh, this is douchebags on the internet or people on the internet going, hey, this is this for a reason. This is a political
Well, it's
statement.
actually funny,
it's
too,
like, this
because-
is just a show.
I was watching it and I was kind of like, I didn't know drag queens had like a statement to make. Like if you were going to make a heavy-handed statement, why isn't it a transgender person? Why isn't it a gay person? Or like, why did you go drag queens are the problem? Because like I've never seen drag queens come out like we are so lambasted by the people wanting normalcy, and or maybe it was just the overall image of like this is such an oddity. A man dressing as a woman and the
My
Bureau of
God.
Normalcy.
What will the village elders think?
I think it's honestly, I think it's because, and I hate to say this, is based off of what we just said of people's reactions. I think if they went transgendered, they would probably have people going, "Oh, you showed that."
You think
person
it would have been
as-
heavier?
Yes, I think they would have gone, "Oh, you
Maybe-
showed
yeah.
that person." It's kind of like
Maybe
you
that
showed
was
them
like
as a
the more
man,
subtle
and
way
then
to
they
do it.
became a woman,
Yeah, yeah.
and they still referred to them as a man. It's kind of like how, and I'm not trying to offend anyone here. People say that
But he
like
will.
if you refer to Caitlyn Jenner as Bruce Jenner,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
called dead naming.
Right.
I
And
remember
it's-
I was looking at
it's
I forget
inappropriate,
his
it's
name.
insensitive, and I think
There
that's,
are like 3 or 4 guys who are very alt right wing, and they like to do that. They like to refer to individuals who have gone through the whole transgender process as their former gender.
Yes.
And because of that, that's like you're just being mean.
Exactly.
You're
Right,
just being mean about it.
And I think that's what they were doing. I think they went, what can we show that is noticeable, that
But
we
not
can't
such a hot button
exactly
topic.
because the
I can
other
see that,
thing,
yeah.
Yeah.
the other thing
And
about
maybe that's why it's not all over the place.
Yeah.
Because well, it's just drag. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And the other
Maybe
thing
that was, like,
about
the safer route to go.
drag is it doesn't mean you're gay.
That's true.
Like, I mean, when I was in college, I took a class called Psychology of Human Sexuality. And we had one day where a bunch of straight men came in and they were in drag and they were just like, this is a part of who I am.
Yeah.
But they were straight men. A lot of them had wives, a lot of them. And I think it's just one that kind of shows, hey, most people in the world look at this and they go, I hate to, not trying to sound me, that's not normal. A lot of people
So-
look at that and they think that, but I think it's a noticeable thing that is easier to approach without offending. Is that an appropriate way of
Sweet
saying
Exorcist states. I mean, I've seen his name, Greg Berlanti. He's the guy that does all the CW shows, and he's doing the DC universe.
it? Okay,
And they were to get a transgender character on Supergirl.
that's true.
So he thinks that the reason why they didn't do transgender is because they're already doing it on an entire show. She's a permanent character on that
Yeah.
show.
Oh, so maybe they were like, well, let's just go to a different route.
Yeah. Be it more subtle or maybe just drag or whatever.
Fair enough.
I honestly think that the message would have been better handled if they had put more individuals on there. Maybe
Yes.
thrown in a transgender individual, a goth individual, a biker individual. Because you always get like the I'm a fat
Right.
biker with a beard, and everyone.
Just kind of show off different people to show that this is a place for anyone who
Yeah.
doesn't feel
was gonna
safe
say-
being themselves outside of the street.
And honestly, like to me, I mean, obviously we have real world issues. Transgenders, what they go through, gay people, what they go through. LGBT,
course.
queer, all that stuff, right? But that's not just I mean, those aren't the only people that feel out of place.
Yeah.
As well, which is what the point of Danny the Street was. Anyone who feels out of place. I mean, you could just have some kid in high school who just feels out of place.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
right, and
He
that's
doesn't
what I
have
feel
to,
like.
it doesn't have to be the hot button issue or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's
And
like
maybe it
there
was
are
just a
other
lack
people who
of
just
time.
like, I mean, yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's only like,
And drag is very much
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
are out of place. They feel out of place.
Right, sure.
So this is an easy topic to go.
But that's to me that's the and I did like the take on that where like this was a place for people who feel out of place, and I honestly I like the episode overall. I feel like they could have done more with it, and they could have just showed some kid in junior high. who
Yeah,
just
that's what I mean.
Doesn't
I
have
feel
any
like they
friends.
could have done so
However,
much more with
Yeah.
it than just the drag guy. But maybe it wasn't
Here's
time
another thing
because the
to-
Jane storyline was going on at the same time, and the
Yeah.
Jane storyline was great.
But here's another thing to think about. What if we didn't notice? What if there were goth people
Like in the
but
background?
we only saw drag because it's very noticeable? Because now that I think about it, when they have Larry sitting in the audience, they have people at those tables in the
Well,
club.
yeah,
And I think some of them weren't in drag, and they were.
I just thought they were regular people on the street.
Exactly, but you don't.
But the show was
They
so
could've
heavy
just-
on the drag
They
element.
could have just been like people who felt out of place.
Exactly.
And they were
Yeah.
there, you
and
know?
but it's just not as noticeable. But I think that kind of hammered the point home there. But I do like what they did with Jane. I liked that they had this Karen version.
The Karen
of her.
character was amazing.
It was great, and I loved that it's continuing on showing she definitely has different superpowers on these different
Yeah.
personalities that
Yeah.
are very key to how that personality acts. Like it's almost as if it has the power and it creates the personality, I guess it would be the other way around because she had the powers in the comics. And then like a bomb went off and then those personalities got powers. But I liked it because it, like even the personalities in her were against what Karen was doing. Like
Yeah.
Hammerhead comes out and she's
Right,
like,
yeah.
you let that dick near my bush, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
One thing that I noticed,
I love that line. I
Especially
thought it
with
was
this
hilarious.
particular-
Hearing you
episode.
say it is very strange, by the way.
because Karen wears a lot of low cut tops. She's rom com.
Yep.
I did notice like Hammerhead has like a skull tattoo.
Yes, the butterfly thing.
which fades away when she became Karen.
And her
Along
hair
with the
color,
hairstyle.
yeah.
I was like, that was pretty cool.
I thought that
like
was
the way they're
great.
differentiating each of these personalities. I'm really curious what they're gonna do with Jane. I was really hoping Danny was gonna stick around.
I think he'll come back. I think
I've
he
noticed a
will go
constant
away
trend.
and he'll come back when Niles is in trouble and he'll
Oh, well,
be
that's
like,
what I've
I will
noticed.
finally help.
A constant trend of characters that go, well, Niles has
Yeah.
got the answers. So when Niles is back, I'll show up.
Yeah.
I also liked Negative Man finally cutting loose and singing, and that's when Danny warped them. It's like, I didn't think it was that bad. And he
Right.
walked out.
That and I really enjoyed Cliff having the dance off with the little kid in the
Yeah.
like Halloween robot
yeah,
costume.
yeah.
Thought that was great. I won't lie. When I started this show, I thought Cliff was going to be like the main character.
Yeah,
like kind of the one they followed, but I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like it's more Jane. Like I
No,
feel like
they said that they're going to rotate each episode. That's why
I was
they
gonna say
are?
because it
Okay.
starts off very heavy, obviously Cliff, but yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I think
There's a
Lately,
whole
it's been
segment of
very
Negative
Jane.
Man right
Yeah,
in the middle
yeah.
there. I keep calling it's Larry, but I keep calling him Negative Man.
I guess it's more.
Where we haven't really gotten is a centric Rita episode that goes deep into her.
Yeah.
Because we even got like a centric Cyborg episode, I think,
Yeah.
when he was trying to like date.
I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't enjoyed Cyborg.
No?
Honestly, I don't.
I
it
like him, but
probably-
I don't like the actor playing him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe it's the prosthetics. I don't know. Something about Cyborg. I haven't really.
Yeah.
been
Okay,
on
there
it,
was
but,
one
you know.
part the editors screwed up. Cyborg's walking on the street and his eyes turned off. And
That
whenever
happens. Why doesn't he
And
just
they've
charge it?
lost me. I'm no longer going to watch the show.
I
Thank you,
noticed it.
Dan.
I always do that. Just like in Legends of Tomorrow, the guy was taking a phone call and his phone wasn't on. Anyway,
What a bunch of idiots.
no, I thought it was funny because it's just one of those ones where it's like there are small details that sometimes just get a little overlooked.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's just-
Overall, I think the Danny the Street episode was a very good episode.
Yes.
I do like the changes they made to Danny because I've always been interested in Danny.
Yeah.
And we've never gotten anything with Danny. So I like the fact that we got a lot with him this time.
but I mean,
I liked the message. I like what they did with it. I felt they could have done more overall, but they didn't.
yeah.
You know? For whatever the reason, be time restraints, or they felt like maybe it was, hey, we got transgender Supergirl,
Right.
You know, and we got minorities in Flash teaming up, and you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so we don't want to do too much in Doom Patrol, but
it's kind of a weird thought process. It's like we got them in the other places. We don't want them to rise up.
wouldn't that be against of the? We don't want to do too many
They're
shows.
like,
don't wanna put
okay,
them
we've
on
got
too
our
many things.
superhero show. Okay, let's represent people. We haven't done drag yet. Okay, like, Danny, you good with that? Okay.
Like they had like a dart thing.
Yeah.
They're like, and we're doing drag.
They
I-
do the
I just-
South Park, cut the head off the chicken. It's just running around.
Or the
And
manatees.
drag.
Being that it's on DC Universe and the time constraints aren't really there,
Yeah.
I feel they could have done more.
Yeah.
I feel like they really could have done a lot more with Danny.
That being said, though, I still think they did a good interpretation of him because a lot of people don't know him, and I think being exposed to him for the first time in this manner was a great way to show
Yeah.
this is a
It could
street.
have been
it
really
teleports,
crappy,
but
too.
it can still
Yeah.
communicate.
I was gonna say it was really good, and I felt like because certain things don't translate well, obviously, to different mediums. So something that works in a comic
Yeah.
a sentient street.
Right.
Might not
doesn't talk.
Who
Yeah.
might
Bear in
not
mind-
necessarily work in a TV show, and I think it did work.
And a
For
lot
the
of
record,
time, it doesn't-
Danny doesn't talk
No,
in the
yeah,
comics.
in the comic.
He doesn't even communicate in any way.
No, he gives arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll leave the street.
Right.
But he doesn't communicate.
Yeah.
That's
So-
so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Where it could have been like very like it could
Now-
have just been like, oh guys, it's Danny the Street. And you have like a little puppet like
All they
brick
show is just
that like wobbles and you can hear his voice or something. Like
I was really worried, I'm not gonna lie, when they first. I forget what the drag queen's name was. The main character, drag queen character.
RuPaul.
That wasn't RuPaul, was it?
No, that's like a very,
RuPaul's Drag Race.
like a celebrity. Yeah, like,
For the record, I think they got a legit drag actor to get on there.
probably.
Because when he was in normal clothing, like his eyelashes was done up and stuff, I'm like, he doesn't look normal. Like he doesn't look like a normal guy.
And see, that's the problem, Ben. That's the problem right there.
Actually,
that's why
I-
we need Danny the Street.
part of me wonders if that actually was a purpose to show that this guy's a part of the Bureau of Normalcy, but he clearly doesn't feel
Normal,
safe in his own skin.
even though that's the
Yeah.
problem.
So,
Anyway, when he first showed up, I thought they were gonna play off like he's Danny the Street. Like,
Oh, I see what
he's
you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
Because there was
yeah.
a brief time in the current Jared Way
Like they
run
would have made
where
him like a full-on normal
Yeah.
person.
They had a like representative, like
Yeah.
Danny was controlling somebody.
yeah.
In the Jared Way run,
Like a physical
so he
version
could
of it, yeah.
temporarily communicate. So I thought they were just gonna go all in on that, like this is Danny.
Huh.
But I'm glad they
I would,
did.
yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't have liked that. I think that would have been a terrible way to do it.
No, I like the fact
Yeah.
that they kept him just Danny the Street. He's a sentient
Yeah,
street.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. But okay, I think that's really
All that beer is catching up to me, so
Yeah.
let's talk Shazam.
Hold on, before we
Shazam.
go into that, Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of
So Legends of Tomorrow, we finally came back from the break,
Legends.
and the first thing that I thought of was they took too long
today.
to come back because I had forgotten a lot of it. I had lost a lot of interest. I mean, you guys remember when like Arrow and Flash started up? I was like, Legends of Tomorrow, and then it just took too long. I thought they
April's
took
a
too long.
long
to break.
time when they went on a break in December.
Exactly. Like it was too long. I mean, it was an okay episode, but because of the length that happened, like too much in this episode related directly to what happened in the previous episodes, and because it took so long, I was like,
the
wait,
hell
hold on, what's
happened?
going on?
Yeah,
Plus,
yeah.
I also had the situation you had with the Flash of they showed a preview of the next episode to spoil it for me. Thanks, CW. That's what
Oh, right in the middle. No, the problem I'm having
Yeah,
Indy is
right in the middle.
So you watch CW shows on the CW TV like app, and there's no way to avoid ads. You have to watch them.
Right, yeah.
And they trailer the next
No,
one
yeah.
in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
what is wrong
I
with
used to watch them on the app all the time, but now I honestly I just kind of lost interest in all of most
Yeah.
of the CW shows. Honestly,
Okay.
Although I really liked Legends of Tomorrow for a long time.
Legends of
and
Tomorrow-
then it kind of lost my interest, and I was a little sad.
See, Legends of Tomorrow, it started off really strong, but it feels like it's kind of stagnated. That they're kind of trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I've been dropping off a little bit. I really enjoyed it, and this episode, I was just kind of like, is it over yet? Like
I feel like all of the CW shows, they started out so strong. And it was like this cool thing that we didn't have at the time. We didn't have a TV superhero show.
Yeah.
Right? We hadn't had one for the longest time. I want to say before that it was what? Smallville? Maybe? What was the superhero show before? Like
Smallville, we had the failed Birds of Prey attempt.
That was awful.
Smallville would be the only successful.
You know what I'm
I can
saying?
think
Before
of.
Arrow. So then like Arrow came out and you were like, yes, a superhero show on TV and it's good. Like the
It wasn't
writing
great,
sucked.
but it wasn't good.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
bad.
good for what we had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't have anything, so it was like, oh, that was great. And then Flash came, it got even better. And then Flash came out, and you were like, yeah, oh, and now they're doing Flash, and it's amazing. And then it was like Legends of Tomorrow. All these characters.
Well, the
you
first season of Legends.
well,
kinda
yeah,
sucked,
but you
after
were,
that,
but it's like you wouldn't see. When are we ever going to see like Hawkman and Hawkgirl in a show?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's played like serious. It's not like these
played like a superhero show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, these are so good. And then as time went on, it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right. And then
They kept trying to make him
him
into regular dramas.
Yeah, it's
and that
like
kind of
I
ruined it
lost
for me.
interest in. Yeah.
Yeah.
but okay, Shazam.
All right. Warning right here. If you don't want spoilers, you got to go.
Yes, leave if
Quickly.
you don't want spoilers. Mods in chat, if you can just every now and then say Shazam spoilers in case someone jumps in. That
Billy
would be
Batson
great.
is Shazam.
Yes.
Boom.
Sorry.
Spoiled.
Spoiled. Holy crap, that was an amazing movie.
Okay, for the record, I do want to state, just so you guys know, if you are debating, there isn't actually that much to spoil.
No.
Shazam fights bad guy dies, that's problem solved.
It's kind of like
Yeah, there's not like any giant twists.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
it's one of those movies where it's like we could tell you what happens, but it's actually watching like how it happens
Yeah.
that makes it good.
Yeah. I mean, if you
Overall,
know
with-
the character, you know what's going to happen in the movie.
Exactly.
Nothing
Yeah.
crazy happens.
Overall with Shazam, I loved it. I love the way they
Yes.
handled Shazam himself.
Yep.
I love that they spent so much time with Freddy and Shazam.
Uh-huh.
And then they moved into the family element.
Yep.
And we got all of that. I felt that the child actors weren't terrible. They weren't great,
You know,
but they were good enough and they had so few lines. I never got like irritated by like Darla and things like that.
we were actually talking about it that we felt like Zachary Levi
Oh, yeah.
was more childlike than the guy that actually played as Billy Batson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so the kid who plays Freddy, whose name I can't remember now.
Freddy is amazing. That
He
kid
did
is
a
so
great job.
And
Yeah.
so that's the same kid from It.
I never saw
He
it.
was in It. Yeah, he was one of the kids in It. One of the losers clubs. He's a great actor. Like,
Yeah.
I can see him going really far. He was awesome as Freddy. The kid who plays Billy Batson, whose name I also can't think of.
Right.
Obviously plays like the very gruff, like, you know.
because Billy's a sad boy.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Which is hilarious because then he becomes Captain Marvel, and Zachary Levi just has such like, and I don't mean this as an insult in any way, shape, or form because I love Zachary Levi.
Right.
Such a childish way of
Yes.
Did
living.
you guys have a problem not seeing Chuck?
Well, and I said that to, I want to say it was you actually. I was like, just imagine if Chuck got superpowers. That's exactly what this
So
movie
there's a
is.
show that came out in like early 2000s, and Zachary
Maybe it was
Levi was the
Gary,
star
I
of
don't
the show.
remember.
It was called Chuck, and what the plot was is that he was a Best Buy employee. It was the name of the show.
The
like,
Nerd Squad,
Nerd
whatever
Squad.
they
I know
they call it
okay.
something else in the
and
show.
they
but-
downloaded the entirety of the CIA bank into his head.
So he's basically
Okay.
a nerd who's into sci-fi and comic books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who becomes a super spy.
Yeah, it's great.
I think
Now
I remember
imagine that,
now.
but he becomes a superhero.
Yeah.
That's Shazam.
That is Shazam.
I thought they did a great job. I like also what they did with like the 7 deadly sins, how they used it with the villain, how all these other I liked that they finally mentioned cuz I don't recall reading it. I'm sure they did it.
Yeah.
But the fact that the wizard brought many people there.
Right.
And this one guy just was so obsessed with it that he talked to so many other people, and I thought it was just done so well to make you go, okay, Billy's not the only one. Billy wasn't perfect. He was just like the last resort.
last option.
And I thought that was
That was
really
a good
good.
twist on it because normally it's Billy is the perfect one.
So
Okay,
it
so
depends
I'm
on which
not
version you read.
wrong.
So the original comics, yes, it was Billy was supposed to be pure of soul or something.
Pure of heart.
Pure
That's
of
what it was,
heart,
the whole
whatever
thing
he
was.
says. In the new 52 version, Billy shows up and the wizard's like, no. And he's like, you're not pure of heart. And Billy was basically like, nobody's pure of heart. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And it was like, and the wizard was like, well, okay, you're kind of my last option anyway. Boom, Shazam.
Yeah.
So now you have kind of sort of in the movie where he's not really like an asshole, but he's
he
not
is.
exactly a nice kid either.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's been an orphan forever, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I got that.
depending on your version, he's actually killed people. Like the Superman Shazam storyline. Did you do that or did Sean write that?
Sean did that one, I didn't do it.
So in that one, Billy accidentally kills the Freddy character. It's not
Oh,
Freddy.
wow.
So he ricochets the bullet, kills the kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
What?
We're on right. We said spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah.
When then they're in the convenience store.
Yeah.
And he shoots him, and he's like, "Oh my God, you have bullet." Which, by the way, Freddy has terrible names for
Yes.
superpowers.
Hyperspeed.
Bullet immunity. Anyway, but then they're like, "Well, we're not sure if the suit is bulletproof or if it's you. Shoot him in the face.
head."
Shoot him in the face." And he's like, "Oh yeah, here."
That was the best
And
one.
he's like, "Oh yeah, that tickles. Oh, that's weird." Yeah. Yeah. That was like one of my favorite
Oh
scenes.
my gosh.
I liked the Aquaman line at the post credits. So for the record, guys, there's a whole segment in the movie where it's just them trying powers.
That's actually a large portion of the movie.
It is.
And
They
they
just-
go back to it, which I think is
that's
really
the
good.
post credits.
Yeah.
The post credits is not a leaked or anything. It's just one of the trailer sequences where he makes
Actually-
fun of Aquaman.
So the trailer actually contains one of the post-credit sequences, and they just cut off. I think it's like 10 seconds at the beginning and 10 seconds at the end. or
Yeah,
something like
to
that.
make it work.
Yeah.
And it's basically them holding like a fish, and he's like, "What about talking to fish? Oh no, that's stupid." And like Freddy's wearing an Aquaman
Yeah.
shirt.
It's like you can command an army of billions underneath the ocean. That's not that cool.
Which is great because it's like Aquaman just came out in December.
Yeah.
So it's Shazam throwing shade at the previous movie.
Yeah. I thought, that was great. Oh crap, there was something I was gonna say.
I don't know. Probably the
try and
biggest
think of it.
spoiler.
Did you see what Rock said? I don't know because you handle our Instagram, so I don't know if you posted this or not.
Oh no. Well, so I didn't do it because it wasn't enough. I read it, but it wasn't official.
Yeah.
Basically, he said that they're going to do the Black Adam movie within the year. I
Yeah.
think. They're going to start making
So basically,
it.
he said, "Amazing, Shazam's number one."
Because he
right
was
now.
an executive producer on Shazam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he even said like our movie Shazam
Yeah.
is number one in the world.
Yeah.
Black Adam will start filming next year. Now, whether that be Black Adam or Shazam 2, we don't know.
So according to his post, it's going to be Black Adam.
Okay.
I'm
well, there
actually
was
a
a
big
lot
fan
of
of that.
talks that they're going to do Black Adam as a solo.
Well, because
film.
originally it was
Yeah.
like, okay, The Rock was cast as Black Adam.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. It'll be great. then
and
it
he
was
looks
like,
exactly like
He
Black
does,
Adam.
yeah.
He totally
So it
does.
was like, okay, he's going to be in the Shazam movie. And then it was like, no, he's going to appear in Superman first. No, he's going to have his own movie. No, well, Shazam going to come out first, but Black Adam ain't going to be in it.
Right.
Like, it was this
I
weird,
legit
like-
thought he was going to be the post credits.
I thought so,
I
too.
thought so too.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, he leaned over to me and goes, Black Adam. And I was like, no. Honestly, but there were some parts I not that I didn't like, but I think they could have done either easier. They'd spent too much time on. I thought at the beginning with Thad and the fact that his father
That
and
took
brother
too long.
Was
So
they were just
long.
assholes to him, and it's like, okay, we
Yeah.
got it. You could have done that in like a couple of things of dialogue.
Can we make a second for a moment? The Lionel Luthor character just
That dude is in everything DC, all right,
pops up
and I'm
everywhere.
fine with it
Wait.
because he's a great actor.
So that actor
the-
is
yes.
Lionel Luthor in Smallville.
Okay,
He's
he
literally
looks
been
so
in a,
familiar.
He was Lionel Luthor in Smallville. He was a scientist that worked with Pamela Isley in Batman and Robin.
That's
Yep.
where I recognize.
He was in. There's some other stuff he was in. I can't remember now.
But he's always an asshole. It's the same
I just
role.
think that's him. Maybe he's just like, hey, I can bank money on it. Whatever.
I'm a dick. Whatever it
Yeah,
works.
that's fun. John Glover. That's the actor's name. So yeah, that part.
But it was
I think-
funny because at the beginning I was like, it's Lionel Luthor. He's just
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
talking to Lex.
It's literally being Lionel Luthor. He didn't, like even looked the same. He had the beard and everything.
the exact same look as Lionel Luthor. I was like, wait, are we in Smallville?
What a weird tie-in. Yeah, but so that went on a little long. I felt the CGI with the Seven Deadly Sins at times was a little spotty.
Yeah.
Some of the flight and fight sequences between
Okay.
Shazam
My
and
favorite
and
joke.
That reminded
was
me
a
of what I
little
was gonna
spotty.
say.
But I mean, these are like little things.
Yeah,
you know what
they're
I'm saying?
nitpicks.
Like minor things.
Yeah.
My favorite joke in the entire movie. The two of them fly up and like
he's doing
the
the monologue.
villain's giving the monologue.
yes.
We're like a mile. I can't hear you.
What?
I
There's
can see your lips
cars. I'm
moving.
just seeing this.
And it goes on for like a minute and a half. What are you doing?
So since sorry, go ahead.
And he's just like at the ending. He's just like, this. And he
Yeah.
flies.
Ah, screw it. So since we already did spoilers, when the Shazam family shows up,
I didn't see that happening.
I did not see that coming. I assumed maybe movie 2.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
know,
I thought.
Shazam sequel. if
I
we
also
get
liked
one.
the Easter egg of the tiger.
Yeah, which I'm a little sad they didn't put the giant Tawny.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm a little
Tawny.
sad they didn't
Tawny
throw
the
the
But he
tiger.
gave the tiger to the little
Yeah,
girl.
I thought he was going to use some sort of magic to make like a giant fighting tiger. I thought that
Right.
would have been sweet. But when they show up and then they're all funny as like with the kid, Eugene is like Hadouken and shooting the lightning.
Yes.
Like I thought it was great.
I thought it was awesome.
Honestly,
I thought that was
some
great.
of the family stuff was a little heavy-handed. Like
Okay.
the foster parents were super happy all the time. I would be irritated too. Honestly, if our parents were that happy, I'd be like, "Mom, Dad, shut up." All right, we're hands in. We're not doing this every night. I'm sorry.
Stop
This is
rhyming, okay?
This is annoying. But but overall, I think obviously it
The
worked.
one-
Because you've done the research for our video. And you too.
Which
Oh, no, there's a question for both of you.
I've done the
Okay.
research for
Wait, before
all
you
the
do that,
videos.
say that. Then can I say what I remembered? The
Was
one thing that bugs me, and I mentioned this to you, was I was really hoping that when he laughed at "Say My Name, Shazam," that he was gonna say laugh and say Shazam, and he was
Nothing
gonna
was
say
gonna happen.
exactly, and then go, no, you have to say it with meaning, because I thought that was always one of the best changes that they did with him, so that he could actually say "I'm Shazam" without always changing.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of hoping that they were going to do that because it would have been the perfect part.
Yeah.
Like he was laughing at the name. What? Like he could have easily gone Shazam.
'Cause it
Like,
made
no,
sense when
say
it's-
it with meaning.
It made sense when the character was named Captain Marvel because he couldn't act like, who are you? Shazam. And then he turns back into Billy Batson real quick.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. Shazam. Well, now I know your secret identity, kid. You know, like, obviously when he had a different superhero name, it makes sense.
Which,
'Cause
for
you
the
won't
record-
accidentally say it.
Those names that they kept coming up with were hilarious.
Captain Sparkle Fingers?
Yeah.
I love Captain.
That is not my name.
The Red Cyclone.
I do like that. Say my name, Billy.
So it's funny because do you know James Gordon?
Yeah.
The talk show host. So they did a skit with Zachary Levi where he wanted superpowers. And he's like, not a problem. Just touch the staff and say my name. And he goes, Zachary Levi. And he's like, no, my name in the movie. And he's like, I didn't actually see it. It's like, say the title of the movie. And he's like, oh, Shazam.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's good.
So here's a question for you guys, and I
Yes.
can't find any clarification on this.
Okay.
The Shazam family, do they each get one power?
Yes.
Okay. Did you find clarification on that?
I thought they always.
The basic idea is they all roughly have like super strength and things like that.
Yeah.
Freddy's the only one who's supposed to be able to fly. Darla's
Okay.
the only one who's supposed to be able to run fast.
Okay.
Pietro is supposed to be the strongest.
Okay.
Like they have the maximum
So they
version of
showed
that
these in the
power.
movie,
yeah,
'cause
where
they
he
were-
like stops.
Yeah,
the-
and they
the
did that,
thing
and that's
from
why I was like,
falling,
oh, are we gonna go with like each has an individual?
Right,
power?
Darla's
yeah.
supposed to be the fastest. I want to say Mary is supposed to have the most
Intelligence,
willpower,
I
maybe
would say.
intelligence.
Is it basically like they're stronger than Billy in that one aspect?
In that one aspect, yes, they are supposed to be stronger than Billy.
Okay.
So Eugene has like the strongest lightning.
Because the Shazam
So they
family
spell
is
out
weird.
Shazam, and he is Shazam.
Essentially, like he's the combination of the powers, and I think they all have roughly like some form of super strength. Obviously,
Right.
they're not like because if you watch Mary fight, she's not as strong as the other ones. She's
Right.
kind of like getting around the I forget which demon she was fighting.
Okay,
but-
for the record, I
or
also
sin
found
she
it
was
weird
fighting.
that Mary aged.
I thought
Even though she was almost,
yeah.
she was already
She was
like
already-
18.
She was like 18, 19, and then she's
Yeah.
like, now I'm 30.
But it would have been also a little weird if she was the only one who didn't age.
She's the only one that just got the costume. and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
normal.
She's just that actress in the costume, and they're like, Mary? kind of throwing off her secret
What
identities.
the hell, man?
Yeah, yeah.
Mary has wisdom, according to Wayne.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea is they all roughly kind of have some of the strength. And I mean, they're better
For
than normal
For those
kids.
guys who don't know, the family is kind of a newer aspect to the Shazam lore.
Yeah.
That many members is.
Yeah.
Captain Freddie was actually always, he wasn't Freddie Freeman. I think maybe he was Freddie Freeman for the longest time. He was always Captain Marvel Jr.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's 1 and 2.
Yeah,
That was
and
it.
Mary Marvel
Yeah.
was the other
Yeah.
one. The
Well, that was back
other,
in the day where they're always like, we don't want our superheroes to appear gay, so we're gonna make female versions. That's
so then
literally how half
so
the female superheroes came into existence.
Doesn't surprise me.
the other three.
Batwoman and Batgirl are entirely created because Batman and Robin looked gay.
I remember you saying that because I responded with the irony of Batwoman became gay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, if people
That's
don't
why
realize
it's
this,
funny.
but like pre-70s, if a female version of a superhero is created, it was entirely to prove they're not gay.
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah.
So so Billy, Mary, and Freddie were actually always in the Marvel. They were considered the Marvel family. The other three actually were added originally for the Flashpoint.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I
in
mean.
that
Okay.
one, Captain Thunder was 6 orphans who, when they said the name, combined into one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added those 3 into the Marvel family for the New 52.
Then 52 became
Yeah.
like the family, which
Right,
is why
and
it's
then
in
they
the
all got the
movie.
powers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Kind of wish they had said Captain Thunder instead of Red Cyclone now.
I'm surprised they didn't actually
Yeah,
say
now
Captain
that
Thunder.
I think about it, they didn't even say Captain Marvel. That
Well, no,
would've
they
been
couldn't
funny.
have said Captain Marvel.
They-
that would have been a thing.
I don't know.
That would have been a
It
thing.
would've
They
been
could have said
great.
Captain Thunder.
It would have been great.
Yeah, they could have said
So
Thunder.
overall,
Captain Thunder.
I'm super happy with the Shazam movie.
I thought
Between Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman,
Aquaman.
I feel the DCEU is going in a wonderful direction.
Yeah.
And from the trailer for Joker, I'm excited, even though Dan doesn't like his coat.
I just, well, not even just the coat. I'm just meh. I don't. It doesn't get my attention like the trailer of Shazam did. It didn't
Right.
get my attention like the trailer of
Well, that's-
Aquaman
that's
did. It
an
didn't make me go, I want to watch it. It
I've
made me go, I have to watch this for my job.
I've said this twice because somebody's asked this in chat twice now. The trailer itself doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like a good psychological thriller. I don't think it looks like a good Joker movie.
I think Sal
To be
put it best. He feels like there was a different movie, and they were like, "What if we put the Joker in there?"
Well,
Yeah.
that's honestly that's kind of what it is. Now, to be fair, I don't know what I want from a Joker origin movie, or if I honestly even want a
I
Joker
don't want one.
origin movie.
I mean, I'm gonna watch
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and see if I like it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Joker is my favorite villain, and the reason I like the Joker as a villain,
One of your favorites.
no, he's the top
Over Reverse Flash.
over Reverse Flash
I would have gone
But the-
Trickster
or Pace Pop Pete.
Pace Pop Pete.
for Ben's. Because he's a huge Flash. I would have said Trickster.
Oh, of course.
Well, the reason I like the Joker the most is because we don't have an origin. He's
what I'm
psychotic
saying,
and he's
yeah,
really
yeah.
inventable because
There's
we
no
don't
solid
know.
origin. At
Right.
least.
The problem with having an origin is you always have that is the origin.
Yeah.
So the character always has to kind of like attach to that. By not having an origin, the Joker can be anything.
That plus it's kind of a with this film being his origin, it's going to confuse people because what if
Well,
in the
that's
Batman
my-
movies they're going to go
That's my biggest argument
that
is that everyone's like, oh, it's Elseworlds. Don't worry about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, but people still to this day leave comments on my Joker origin videos going, isn't Joker Joe Chill from 1989?
or Joker.
In 1989, he was Jack Napier.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
But either way, like
Joe
the 89 movie origin of the Joker still stands to this day
Yeah.
for your casual movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so somebody's asking. So, what did you think of the Superman?
I thought that was hilarious.
I thought that was
That
great.
was very. I will say this, and I think I
And
want to say
Mr. Mind is great too.
I want to say Sal put it best though. It was weird that they didn't have Henry Cavill, but they had the suit because now it's always going to be associated with that Superman. So if you
See-
recast Superman and you give him a different suit, they're going to be like, well, it's not the same Superman that showed up in Shazam.
See, I'll say right there though, until you said it, I didn't recognize it as Henry
Yeah,
Cavill.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just saw it as Superman showed up. I didn't.
thought it was
I didn't
really
go.
good, yeah.
Henry Cavill showed up. No, I thought Superman showed up, and I think that's all they really intended.
Right,
I think
yeah,
it was
yeah.
more of a, hey, we already have this made.
Probably.
honestly,
well, because
though,
originally
let's
they were
just
trying to
use
get
it.
Henry Cavill
You know what I
to
feel
do
bad
it. He
for?
couldn't do it.
The body double. The guy that got to be Superman
For, like,
for a scene, but
30
no
seconds.
one will ever know.
It actually was Henry Cavill, and then he backed down. They were like, let's just cut his head off,
Well, no, so
and
it was-
no one will know.
It was Henry Cavill, but he still had the mustache from Mission Impossible. They're like, we're not CGIing it again. Cut it down.
nah,
You know how much money that cost?
Cut out his head.
Cut out his head. Should have put just his jawline in.
Yeah, he's got a good jawline.
Yeah, it's very
be honest.
distinct.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Henry Cavill's a
though,
good-looking dude. I don't care.
Shazam.
I also think
needs
they
to
could have
be
made that
watched.
better. Hey, my friend's gonna sit down if it was Superman and Batman. If you're gonna cut their head
Yeah,
off,
but,
fuck it.
okay, but Batman ain't showing up to some dude's high
Yeah.
school. Like Superman, I could see that. Superman, because I think we were talking about this afterwards. Because me and Ben saw it
Yeah.
in L.A.
L.A. Yeah.
So we were. I think all of us were talking about it afterwards, which is like, when would he have met Superman? And it's like, honestly, I could see Superman seeing it on the news. Like, let's say he's hanging out with Lois Lane.
Like in
right?
the Superman Shazam
yeah.
comic.
And he
Yeah.
could have been like, let me go talk to this kid.
Yeah.
And he would have flown over, said his piece, whatever. And I could totally see at least Zachary Levi being like, can you come to my high school with me real quick? Like,
Oh my God, it's Superman. I need a favor.
like I could have 100% seen that. So,
But it's a must-watch.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's
if you're on the fence, go see it.
Top
between
two,
Wonder
top
Woman, because
three.
Wonder Woman was the first in the movies that were not affected by the.
yes.
Batman
Zack
v Superman.
Snyder
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder, whatever. I mean, I've already said my piece in that. I like the movies to an extent.
And then your Twitter got hacked.
so
Did you see this?
No, whatever.
me and Sal were having so much fun one night, and
It
what I
was-
did is I hashtagged
Release the
release
Snyder
the
Cut?
Snyder cut of Shazam.
Yeah.
I would watch
And
that.
But
so-
not only
so
hold on.
It's
what-
just like super gritty.
Not only did he do it, because I went
You
on
don't know the full
Twitter
story,
and I
hold
just
on.
went down though,
You
and
don't
I
know the
just
story.
see a response to every anyone saying anything was just hashtag release the Snyder cut of Shazam.
It's even
Anyone
worse.
Because somebody are out there going, he made us.
So what happened is this. Me and Sal were sitting around that last night that he was here, and we were like, "Wouldn't it be hilarious if someone was streaming right now?" And we went in and said, "Hashtag release the Snyder Cut of Shazam." And two comic book YouTubers were Comic Book Cast and Comic Book Frontlines. I went into both of them and I said, "Release the hashtag."
Oh, God.
Comic Book Cast said nothing.
Okay.
And Frontline went into a tyrant about Snyder Cut. And we were like, well, what if Comicstorian, me, left comments on every comic book YouTuber's latest video release the Snyder Cut of Shazam.
Good
Not
lord.
just comic book YouTubers.
So it started with us going to like comics.
Ben's on like a cooking show. Release the Snyder Cut.
So it started with us going, is Comics Explained, Variant.
He's on music videos.
We went over to Comic
Tyler
Drake.
Snyder
We went to
Shazam.
Dylan's channel. Everyone's, and then we started Comic Island, Comic Book Girl 19. We started becoming like we just went to those outliers. Then it was like IGN did a Shazam thing. Release the Snyder Cut of Shazam.
Jesus.
So we just started hitting all of them, and then it was like, what if I tweeted it? So I tweeted the
I
bare
got this image
bones.
of Ben sitting there with like a beer, and he's just like,
What if I tweeted it?
So I tweeted it out the first time, and I went to go pee. And Giselle translated it into Spanish and tweeted out that
Yes.
yes, beautiful.
And that was when everyone was like, Benny got hacked. What the hell's going on?
one. And then I was like,
Meanwhile, Ben's giving a phone interview on Telemundo.
and then I was like, well, what if I went to everyone's latest tweets and responded, hashtag release the Snyder Cut of Shazam. So I did that, including Marvel, DC, Variant. Some people
You're
had-
like hashtag release the Snyder Cut of Captain Marvel.
We did that for Marvel. We did that for Marvel.
Yeah.
We did. Like, we changed it up for a couple things.
Release the Snyder Cut of Andrea.
Heather Antos, the editor for Marvel, who quit and then went over to Variant, Valiant. I released. She said my birthday was great. I hit her with hashtag release the Heather Antos. What was it? Release the Snyder Cut of the Heather Antos birthday party.
Oh my God.
And then I followed up with happy birthday Heather Antos, and she liked it, so we're good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Somebody was like, and now Benny will never, no comic company will ever talk to Benny again.
Yep.
And so we did this at like 20 people, and I wasn't thinking about it. And someone tweeted me back with a screenshot, because if you looked at my tweets and replies, it was all my
Yeah.
response to everyone.
So they were probably like, oh shit, Benny got
Yeah.
hacked.
And
Benny,
that's when I
you got
started-
hacked.
And so
Yeah.
Natalie comes running downstairs,
Oh my God.
and she's like, hey, did you get hacked? And I'm like, no, Sal and I are just
No,
having fun.
Let's be honest. Natalie came running downstairs. You were probably giggling like a little girl on the couch. Just
I was, because I'm on the couch, Sal's in the chair, and I'm doing this on my phone, like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
But the best part is, so she comes down and she goes, okay, I thought you get hacked when I saw it in Spanish and it was accurate.
Right? Yeah, because Benny doesn't speak Spanish. We got that.
Well, that and it was probably spelled correctly. which
That's what
is-
she
that's
said.
not Benny.
So I started tweeting everyone until it got to the point where I'm like, I just tweeted 20 people, hashtag release the Snyder Cut of Shazam. Well, now I'm getting responses over the whole week. People responding with the release the Snyder Cut of Shazam. So this is becoming a thing.
Oh,
But-
Lord.
Sal,
right.
and Sal and I are giggling, and my response to Sal was, I'm never giving you full access to my accounts again.
All right. Well, that kind of.
Oh, yeah. And I released a video on Instagram. I was like, I'm not hacked. Release the Snyder Cut of Shazam. And this also drew
What
out.
would the Schneider?
Schneider.
The Schneider cut. It's a.
It
yeah,
would have been dark.
What do you think the Snyder cut? of
He
Shazam
actually
would've looked
would
like?
have had all the family members say Shazam, then
then
lightning hits
explode.
them and just kills them all.
Yeah, they all
For the
disintegrate.
record, we weren't
see
even
that
drinking.
coming. Origin.
That was totally sober, and we were just bored.
Sure.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of CTV. We hope you enjoyed this. If you watch this on patreon.com/comicstorian, since this is the only place that we upload it. But we do stream it live every Monday at twitch.tv/eligiblemonster. Be sure to come on by and hang out with us, and we will see you guys next time.
Yes, we will.
Bye, everybody.